So I want to share a win on one of our users because I don't think they're in here right now. So they got 10,200 records in their account, roughly. They're only doing Sensei Flow shit, and I already mentioned this to some individuals here. And you know, they're out of Maryland. They locked up 2 deals off of 10,000 records. Okay. And those 2 deals, one's a duplex, one's a flip. The duplex was a BRRRR strategy. They pulled out 50,000 cash on it, and there's still 100,000 in equity, and it's $800 a month in cash flow. The flip was like 100 grand or something like that. It's total 180,000 in cash, I think is what it was. 160 or 180,000 in cash pulled out, plus $800 a month in cash flow, 10,000 records in their account. So one of the things they had mentioned is that, hey, I feel like I need more data. And yes, you do need to become first to market, but when I analyzed their data, here's what I found is that they skip traced. They had 2,500 records that were under prospecting, meaning that they exhausted them through the Sensei flow. But when I filtered those 2,500, there was 1,400 of those records that were only skip traced in one location. So they hadn't skip traced in a second location and ran through them again. So they had just been sitting on those records thinking they need to go spend more money on data when really they already had records that were working, right? So you need to skip trace in that second location. There were 450 records that were skip traced in 2 locations already that they hadn't sent direct mail to yet. Out of those 450, if you already pulled 2 deals out of 10,000, to think that there's not more money in there is silly, right? What are the vexations? What was the problems? And let's look at that. Let's get first to market on those problems on those 2 deals, right? But then let's make sure that we're actually doing the full flow and everything else, because there's still opportunity there. So basically, I showed him how you can spend $250 right now between skip tracing and sending direct mail this month to be able to hit 2,000 individuals that they haven't contacted yet without getting any more data. That is all stacked records, right? That all fit the criteria on the 2 deals that they already made, right? Because that's the only kind of data they're pulling in. And so I want to share his win just because I don't know, it's prior Air Force dude. And it hits home with me because like he, you know, got out the Air Force. I'm sure he was told, you know, that you can't, you know, you're giving up a bunch of money. You're going to lose your retirement in 20 years, yada, yada, yada. And now he's got half of what he would make in a military retirement in his first, you know, X amount of years being out the Air Force, plus 100,000 in equity. So he's making $800 a month plus has an equity in the home. And I think that's just so fucking awesome. And what I would love about that specific, you know, example is that every single one of you guys, anybody on the Essentials plan has the capability to do exactly what he did, right? The reason why people can't, the reason why people don't, is because what ends up happening is they don't set themselves up for success, right? And so they end up having to pay for so much shit in their personal lives to where that's draining everything they have. And when you're working with lower data set, it takes longer for revenue to come, but typically that revenue that does come is bigger, right? And so you have to make sure that you're basing everything on a quarterly basis. Everything has to be a quarterly basis. You can't, even in wholesale, you cannot do anything on a monthly basis. Even like listing homes agents right now, you can't base it off a monthly basis right now. Like average list on properties right now went up in my market from 18 days or from 7 days, 18 days. Now it's up to 45 days. We went from 1,500 properties on market to 3,500 in the last month and a half. Right, so you got to base it on quarterly. You got to make sure you have revenue for quarterly goals. You got to make sure you break that all down, and you just got to make sure you're fucking working. We had another strategy call. They're like, hey, I just really need help with figuring out what tasks I need to create. I go to their task page. They have like fucking 300 overdue tasks, all follow-ups. Like, hey, how is me telling you what tasks you need to create going to help your business if you ain't even doing the tasks that you fucking have right now? So the problem is not creating more tasks. You feel like that's going to make you more organized. You just got to fucking call the follow-ups, man. This is what I'm going to tell you guys right now. Like if you guys right now change the outlook on your business from the amount of records you have to the amount of calls that you're making to the amount of all that bullshit, and you just break it down to how many phones am I updating a day? How many phone numbers do I update from wrong number to correct number to not answering. If I just focus on that one thing, how many of those can I get done a day? I promise you, if you work to increase that amount that you're doing daily, you will convert deals. I don't care if it's through bulk dialing or if it's through Sensei Flow or through whatever fucking strategy you want to use. If you just do that, you will get closer to getting deals on a more consistent basis faster.